So today I'm going to talk about all the things you need to do to set your truck up to go on blue trails. Blue trails are pretty serious trails. They're, got some good inclines, pretty serious rocks in them, and you do need some protecting items. You do need a good set of tires, and you do need a lift kit. And I'm going to tell you the minimum of what you need to go out there and enjoy it without being scared that you're going to tear up your truck while you're out there. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is protection. When you're going out there, you need a nice skid plate. If you have any engine parts or anything that you think can get hit out there, you need a skid plate to cover it. And that's the first stage. You need good protection. That way, everything that has a chance of getting hit is going to be protected. And as you can see, this skid plate has taken some damage. That's pushed up right there, about almost an inch. It's shoved up right there. You can see the curves in the back. This skid plate did its job, and because of that, I feel safe and ease of mind when I'm out there on these blue trails going over these rocks. I just feel a lot safer that I'm going to make it back. So protection is a major thing. So ground clearance is your second thing that you need to worry about. You can see right here, I'm going to put a tape measure up, and with a tape measure up, you can see my ground clearance is 11 inches at the low point, and it's the same back there. I've measured it already. It's 11 inches. That's my ground clearance. That's my ground clearance across the entire bottom of this truck. 11 inches of ground clearance is just fine. You're going to be fine on these blue trails. You're going to, like I said, you're going to hit, because 11 inches, you're going to hit these rocks. These rocks are pretty big. But with skid plates and nice capabilities to skid across these items, you're going to be fine doing this 11 inch. This Toyota Tacoma has a 2-inch lift kit to accomplish this 11 inches of height. Technically, it is supposed to be 12 inches of clearance with the lift kit that I got, but when you add the skid plates that drop it down a little bit, and the skid plates weigh, and the rock sliders weigh a lot, the rock sliders weigh a ton. So when you're adding all this into it, you're dropping that truck back down a little bit, especially because of the skids. Skids are really going to be dropping this down. But I'd rather lose, almost an inch of ground clearance and have a skid plate on here than not have this skid plate. Because as you can see, this damage here, it's protected the truck. It's saved me out there. And with the Tacoma, they have a lot of low-hanging fruit on this truck, and with the transfer case out there, it's bare out there. It just makes you too nervous, like you're going to break something. So skid plates are a must. 2-inch lift kit is also a must. I suggest not going the 3-inch lift kit on the Tacoma, because once you start going 3 inches, you start running into a lot of high cost price items. So your shocks you got to change out, some of the suspension parts you got to change out. There's a lot of pieces you got to change out when you start getting into a 3-inch or higher lift kit on these trucks. So 2 inches is my limit. Maybe 2.5, 3-inch if you're doing, one of those massive kits. Also, if you go 2-inch lift kit on the Tacoma, see that little spacer I have in there? You need to buy one of those spacers on your bump stop. That spacer will make sure that your shock doesn't go completely down and crush your shock. So it's just a little tiny washer I bought at Home Depot. That'll help your truck out. I have another video you can watch on the installation of that spacer. Very easy to install, and like I said, it's $1 to buy that washer at Home Depot. I'm just going to touch on the tires for a little bit. Tire size is important. A 32-inch or larger tire is a good size tire to go on blue trails on these off-road parks. So 32-inch tire. This item isn't necessary, but I feel a little more safe of mind, and I would not have even bought these if it wasn't for that they were used and at a really good price. So these are rock sliders. Like I said, I bought this set used on Facebook Marketplace. Ended up paying 500 bucks for them. These things cost 1,100, 1,200 bucks. And I always wondered why they cost so much. But when I started lifting these things off the ground, I then knew why they did, because they are heavy. These things are like 90 pounds a piece. So a good set of rock sliders you don't have to have, but it gives you a little more peace of mind when you're on the trail. And if you can find a good used set, I would suggest getting a good set. Now, here's something I did not do, and the reason why is it does cost a lot. My truck came with a plastic skid plate for the gas tank, and they sell metal ones out there, but I opted to not buy a skid plate. I have a reason for this. The skid plates out there, first off, they cost a lot of money. They're very expensive for the gas tank. I think they're like 300-400 bucks for a piece of metal over your gas tank. It's a lot of money. The second reason why I stayed with the plastic skid plate is these are plastic that's flexible, the gas tanks, and with a plastic skid plate on here, those two pieces combined, say you do run into a rock and it starts pushing up on this, well, 99% of the time, these tanks are just going to flex up. They're not going to bust open. They were designed to not bust open. So you're pretty much safe with just staying with the plastic skid plate on these gas tanks. Now we're going to talk about the lowest hanging fruit on the tree, the rear differential. And for a Jeep Wrangler, it's the front and rear differential. On the Jeep, because the front differential's on the side, it's not as big of a problem. Sometimes you do hang up on that, but on the rear, it's a moderately big problem. You can get skid plates for these, and it's not for the fact that you're protecting your pumpkin back here, but it's the fact that you can have a slide point. So when it does come up to a rock, it doesn't just stop when you hit that rock, because you're catching on that metal right there, and boom, it just stops. And when you're stopping like that, you're putting all the pressure of your truck on that one little spot. So it's a little dangerous for your pumpkin, your rear differential area, and you're going to stop when you hit the trail. So that's the reason why you can get these shields that are kind of like rock sliders for your rear differential. And in a future episode, I'm going to show you how to install one of those. Another nice point of protection is a hitch. If you have a hitch on your truck, this is helping protect your rear bumper, because when you come up out of a hole or something, chances are pretty high you're going to hit this before you tear up your bumper. It's going to, not always, but it's going to help a lot. So a rear hitch helps on a lot of situations out there. So that pretty much summarizes everything you need to know about getting these trucks on a nice off-road trail. Blue trails and green trails. Green trails, you can pretty much do those with a factory set of tires, and the blue trails, you need some modification. I have gone on one blue trail when I had this truck at factory everything, and you just don't want to do it. It's too dangerous. You're going to get stuck out there. I thought I was going to tear up my truck. So don't go on a blue trail with the factory settings. If your truck already has 11, 12 inches of clearance, a big tire, and a good lift, then you're fine. So that summarizes everything up about how to get on those massive trails out there and enjoy the off-roading community.